Hey everyone, Scooby-Doo here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 1/10 scale Kotobukiya statue figures. This is a brand new line of figures that I'm going to be adding to my Empire room. And I kind of wanted to make this video a little bit different in that I'm going to talk a little bit about Star Wars, which I don't think I've ever talked about in any of my other videos. And the reason why I'm choosing to do this is because they're kind of it kind of has to do with these figures that I have here. As you know, I did original trilogy, and for my last video I mentioned that Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie, and I just kind of somehow wanted to get that into the room, which I have achieved. I haven't put it in the room yet, but doing the actual design of the room, I'm able to get actually the prequels in, and was talking about the sequels, and it just wasn't really that stoked about putting the sequel movies in because I don't really care for them that much. And finally, as a completist, I decided, I'm going to go ahead and add all three. But just the new sequel movies are kind of bumming me out, and which is the reason why I kind of didn't decide to the very end to add these figures, and also why I'm going with the 1/10 scale opposed to the 1/6. Now, also too, talking about scales, we'll just show you for size. This is a black series, so you can see the size, and their black series is a 1/12 scale or 6-inch, so they're a little bit bigger than that. And then this is a 1/6 scale, but it's kind of a smaller 1/6 scale because it's Metacon, and you know who that is? Of course you do. It's Jango Fett. He's also going to be going into the Empire room. So there we go. You can kind of get an idea for size. Kind of put him over here as well. There we go. There we go. Stretch my arm out. Okay, so as I'm talking about the Star Wars, I'll actually show these figures to you. They are a really good alternative for price. If I were to go with the 1/6 scale for all these figures, you're going to look at an average about $200, so that's $800 with shipping and tax. Who knows? That could be up to about $900. I got actually all four of these for $130. Now, I don't know if that's exactly a great price, but I think it's a good price considering what they've been going for on eBay, because these can actually get kind of expensive too, but nowhere near the 1/6 scale Hot Toys or Sideshow. So onto these figures slash characters. You do get a couple of different arms. So these are kind of posable, even though they're statues. And I'll actually show you on the Stormtroopers. I'll just move this really quickly. You actually get like an instruction sheet where you can do all these kind of different poses. So they do give you some options. But the reason why I didn't really care about the sequels is there's no real evil character. Now in the trailers, when The Force Awakens first came out, all the trailers, it looked like Kylo was going to be like a new Darth Vader, and then you had Phasma that looked kind of ominous and taller than other troopers, and you're like, okay, this is going to be kind of cool. And then once the movies came out, even though I do enjoy the movies, okay, I do enjoy all the movies because I'm a big Star Wars fan, and just like with The Force Awakens, just having the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo, Chewbacca, just to see them. I mean, you basically had me at the Millennium Falcon. I mean, I just went for that. And hearing some of the familiar Star Wars songs and different things, I'm just going to go for nostalgia reason, if nothing else. And then if the movie's good, then that's like a cherry on top. Well, I think they're actually terrible. But I'm still going to go see them. I still love them, but I think the director and how they went with the story and how they developed each character was just hideous. We'll start with Phasma. We'll pull her a little bit closer. Phasma I thought she was going to be kind of like a Boba Fett, but in trooper form, because she's taller, she has a cape, she's a little bit different. Looks like she probably kind of does kind of her own thing in a way, even though she's part of the First Order. and she just really didn't develop into much of anything. I don't really have anything more to say about her. I mean, it's just that's Phasma, okay? She's a taller trooper. Got it. There's not really that much more. She has a couple other weapons that she uses, but yeah. But I'll show you here, even though this cape is like it's a plastic, it's got great texture. I'm going to see if I can get it closer. Got great texture to it. And as far as a figure goes, I think she looks awesome. It's got that chrome look to it as well. Now again, she comes with a couple of different arms, so you can pose her in different kind of poses. And again, if you're thinking about getting this series of figures, there's a lot of great YouTube channels out there that do some really awesome reviews on them. Now on to Kylo. What a disappointment. I look at Kylo as a let's see, like a entitled brat. Like he just thinks that he's supposed to have everything given to him. And even so, you can have characters that are like that can turn into really good characters, as long as everybody doesn't think that he's just a big crybaby. You know, and he could be a character that people just don't understand, and then once they understand him, okay. But nah, he's just whiny. He's very whiny. He's very conflicted all the time, and that doesn't make very good for an evil villain like the main character. It doesn't. Darth Vader, he wasn't he wasn't conflicted. He was a little conflicted in Empire Strikes Back when he's talking to Luke, but he pretty much was just evil. You can say, well, maybe it's Snoke. Well, see, here's the difference: is that the original trilogy, when they introduced Palpatine, which you could say is kind of like Snoke, nobody knew a lot about Star Wars. So everything was kind of new. Now that Star Wars has been out and you have the prequels and everything else, people know to follow the storylines. And so when they introduce Snoke, it's like, okay, who is he? Is he a spirit, a force spirit? Could he be a Jedi coming back? Or just anything. And they just didn't develop the character. So again, there just really is no evil person. I mean, even in The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul, I mean, dude, that guy was scary as hell, and he had that theme music where it was like, dun, 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 dun. I mean, if I saw that guy coming, I'd be like, okay, bye. Again, with Kylo Ren, he's just not developed. It's like, he's not evil. It's like, what are you doing? Just make him a bad guy and just leave it at that. Now, eventually he can switch over, but we're already 2 movies in. We only got 1 left. Who's the bad guy? Who's the Darth Vader? Who's the Palpatine? Nobody, I guess. So, but as far as the figure goes, he looks fantastic. Fantastic. And even though this is plastic, it looks like it's actual material. And he's going to kind of be going higher up on a shelf, so he's actually kind of looks like a 1/6 scale figure. Now, his head moves a little bit. Not going to do it on here, but oh, by the way, they come on these stands. There's little magnets, so you can actually kind of shift them, and they just kind of stand up. He does come with a different kind of cape for the back, so you can actually have him without the hood. And again, he comes with a couple of arms, so you can pose him in different ways. In fact, if you look at the box, I got one where he's just kind of standing there like that. So both of these are great figures. I'm just kind of explaining why I was having a hard time putting these in the Empire room, because it was just kind of a shame what they did. And the worst thing of all, the absolutely worst thing of all, is the First Order troopers. First of all, I don't know why they decided to add blood. Never added blood into Star Wars. You never saw the troopers bleed. We don't need to see them bleed. And then they take their helmet off. Troopers don't take their helmets off. Okay, now they did in Revenge of the Sith. But that was just, I think, just show that they were clones. That they're like, oh, hey, there's another Jango Fett. Oh, and there's another Jango Fett. No, they were clones. So I think that's why they had that in that movie, just to kind of show the audience. But we don't need them to take their helmets off. We don't need them to be humanized. Troopers are fine just being soldiers that receive an order, take the order, and try to follow it out. Now I guess they take their helmets off and you find Finn and not Jango Fett. You find somebody conflicted. You find somebody who's on the last hour of his 8-hour shift, and when he gets off work, he's going to go join his bowling league. I don't know, but it's just a terrible, absolutely terrible thing to humanize the troopers and then say he's the only one. It makes no sense. They didn't need to go that way. Finn easily could have been an Imperial officer, which again, if you go back to the original trilogy, there was a lot of Imperial officers that didn't agree with Darth Vader, that didn't agree in the Force. So if they would have made him an Imperial officer, that would have made complete sense, and they could have just kept the troopers as they are, which is just dedicated, loyal soldiers. And now I guess we have to worry about all of them not following orders. And I think there's enough stuff going in the storylines that we don't have to worry about that. So I think they just totally blew it on the troopers. But as far as how they look, I think they look really cool. Now the troopers actually have the most poses, which I showed you in the instruction. In these instructions, I'll show it to you again really quickly. They come with a lot of different poses. So I'm going to be putting these up on the sequel wall, and we'll be taking a look at that. And I don't know, I keep hating when I say in a couple of weeks, but I'm really moving forward on the Empire Room and getting a lot of stuff done. So we'll start seeing a lot of stuff being put up in a very short time. So there they are, the Coda Kyo 1/10 scale figures. They also make some of these in a 1/7 scale, but again, the pricing just starts getting up to just about the same as a Hot Toys or a Sideshow. But this scale right here would be a good scale if you wanted to collect some fairly decently looking figures that I think would look good in a display. Even the Black Series actually doesn't look that bad, but these are kind of like the next step up. Again, I actually really do like this Kylo Ren. I mean, everything is plastic on here, but it really looks like it's cloth. Look at that. It's fantastic. All right, if you have any questions or comments about my theories on Star Wars, I mean, I got actually tons of them. And anybody who likes Star Wars always does. So there they are. Yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. I guess I did pretty good, only 13 minutes. I thought I was going to end up talking about Star Wars stuff for a lot. I probably left out some stuff that I was going to talk about, but that's all right. All right, hope you guys are having a fantastic start of the new week, and I shall talk to you guys later.